Welcome aboard the World America, the world's newest megaship. With 7 pools, 12 restaurants, 19 bars and lounges, and a capacity of over 6,700 guests, this massive ship is MSC's largest and offers countless options for entertainment. But with 22 decks and 7 distinct districts, knowing where to find everything can be quite the challenge, and getting lost is definitely a concern. So whether you're considering booking your own cruise on the World America, or are just curious to see what the world's newest ship has to offer, you've come to the right place, as we'll take you from back to front, bottom to top, and nearly everywhere in between.
Now for those of you who are new here, I'm Jamie, Skylar's behind the camera, and we have already toured 5 different MSC cruise ships on this channel. But this is easily the newest, the largest, and most hyped MSC ship we've ever sailed on. And with features on this ship, including the world's only over-water swing ride, the longest dry slide, and the largest water park on any of the MSC ships, there is so much we cannot wait to show you. And we're gonna get it started on Deck 5. And we're starting here on Deck 5 because Decks 4 and below are staterooms only, with the exception of the Medical Center. Now behind me is one of the complimentary dining rooms that you can be assigned to. This one holds over 800 people, but it's only the 2nd largest restaurant on this ship. We were actually assigned to this one and have to say it was a little bit confusing to access because if you try to get here from the front of the ship, it takes you through hallways with cabins and doesn't actually get you into the restaurant. So you want to make sure to access it from the middle or back of the ship. Now we'll show you some footage from our experiences right now.
Now, one thing we found to be true about each of the 6 MSC cruise ships we sailed on is that the dining rooms are a bit cozier than on some other cruise lines. So even though you may technically have a table to yourself, it may be located just a couple of inches from the one next to you. But thankfully on this cruise, the table right next to us was always empty, so we did feel like we had a little bit of privacy. One highlight from our dinners on this cruise was the Night 1 prime rib, which along with their bread and butter has always been consistently excellent on MSC ships. A few of the other entrees that we particularly enjoyed from our dinners in La Foglia were the filet mignon, the lobster and shrimp dish, and the pork spare ribs. Some of our favorite appetizers, meanwhile, were this Cajun seafood dish, salmon tartare, and escargot. We thought overall the food was a little more Americanized than on our prior MSC sailings, as it seemed to contain more salt and was a bit more flavorful. But what easily surprised us most about the complimentary dinners on the World America was the quality of the desserts, as we had never been impressed with them on our prior MSC sailings, but found most of the ones we tried on this cruise to be excellent. We were also quite surprised by the service in La Foglia, as our food came out quickly and our staff was attentive, which hadn't always been the case on our prior MSC cruises.
Now these next 3 decks are absolutely jam-packed, and it can be kind of confusing to find your way around. So it's really important to know that there are maps outside of the elevators. There's also touch screens to help you find your way around, and you can pull up the deck plans on your phone through the MSC For Me app. Now at the very front of Deck 6 is the Business Center, but we know most of you are not traveling for business, you're looking for fun, but that's great because only a few steps away there is a desk where you can browse and book excursions electronically. Now some of you may have noticed that behind me is a bright red telephone booth. It's a great spot to take a photo, and there is something special about it. We're not going to give it away, but if you do a little bit of research, you can figure it out. Next to the excursions desk is the Luna Park Arena, which we talked about earlier, and we'll show you some of the activities that we found here during our cruise.
While the neon-lit arena was pretty chill at times, it always livened up at night with events such as karaoke and the glow party. Now while the glow party was pretty cool, it was this somewhat strange ski-themed party which surprisingly turned out to be our favorite event in the Luna Park Arena, as the atmosphere was energetic, the dance floor was packed, and they even made it snow. On top of that, we also got to hang with the World America's awesome cruise director, Dr. E, for a bit.
Connected to the arena is an arcade. We'll show you some of the games you'll find inside. On the other side of the ship is the pizza and burger joint. We think it's a great addition because it's quick, easy, and complimentary. It serves MSC's delicious pizza as well as burgers, nachos, and even soft serve ice cream.
Now while we definitely came here most frequently for the pizza, we also have to mention their wings, which weren't crispy but did have great flavor. And I also loved the rich and gooey chocolate brownies. Another thing we enjoyed here was the atmosphere, as it was a refreshing change from the typical buffet setting.
Now, before we take you to the next spot on this brand new cruise ship, we want to take a minute to tell you about a new way to book cruises, and that happens to be the sponsor of today's video, Plannin. Plannin is a global travel booking platform that is on a mission to restore the human connection in travel experiences. On Plannin, you won't find anonymous, faceless reviews. Instead, you'll find a trusted community of travelers that you can relate to, whose travel recommendations can help you decide which hotels, experiences, or even cruises will be the best fit for your future trips. Plannin works with well-respected partners in the travel industry, including Booking.com, Priceline, Agoda, OpenTable, Get Your Guide, and most recently, CruiseBound, to offer the deepest discounts available on stays around the world. Plannin's cruise booking feature just launched, so you can now search cruises based on destinations, departure ports, sailing dates, and specific cruise lines to find your perfect cruise vacation. To unlock exclusive member discounts and be entered to win a $250 Plannin credit, just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the video description to sign up for a free Plannin membership by this date. Once you've signed up for your free Plannin account, you can start planning your next cruise vacation on one of the many brand new ships that are sailing in 2025, like the MSC World America, which we're on right now, or the Norwegian Aqua, which we'll be boarding in a few days. 2025 is an exciting year for cruising, so once you do sign up for a free Plannin account, be sure to give us a follow to see all of our future cruise recommendations. Now let's get back to the World America. Across from the pizza and burger joint is where you'll find a future cruise desk. It is busy today with people trying to get a good deal on their next MSC cruise. Just past the future cruise desk is one of my favorite spots on MSC cruises, and that's the chocolate shop and cafe. Now this one has chocolate, gelato, crepes, coffee, and other treats, but do keep in mind that they are all an additional charge. Now this place also has some really cool chocolate sculptures, so we'll go show you around.
Even though everything wasn't upcharge, we found this place to make the best lattes on the ship and have some of the creamiest gelato we've ever had. So if you have a sweet tooth, we'd recommend leaving room in your budget to visit this spot a time or two.
Across from the chocolate shop is the shopping gallery. Now because it's a port day, it is closed, but we'll show you some footage of what you can find from a day when it was open. Across from the shopping gallery is the boutique. Just past the shopping, you'll find this impressive chandelier as well as escalators on either side of the ship that will take you to and from the gangway. Beyond that is the Dolce Vita bar. Now this bar does open early, so you can grab a coffee and pastries here in the morning. It also hosts activities like dancing and live music.
We should also mention that this is the closest bar to a few of the complimentary dining rooms and is therefore a great spot to grab a pre-dinner drink.
Across from the Dolce Vita bar is another excursions desk and the guest services desk, which Skylar did already have to visit because he lost his cruise card. That was fast, actually.
It's like 1 minute.
Now the area we just showed you is known as the World Galleria, but we are leaving it in order to show you more complimentary restaurants. Now this is the Hexagono and Hexagon restaurants. They are identical on either side. They serve the same menu, and together they can seat over 1,000 people.
We should also mention that Hexagon and Hexagono are sometimes open for breakfast and lunch, and even occasionally serve a special brunch. We did attend this tour to brunch on our cruise, and both our fried chicken and shakshuka dishes were exceptional.
Now Deck 7 is just as packed with options for entertainment, specialty dining, shopping, and more, and we're gonna start at the very back. Now we are starting in the Panorama Lounge, which hosts a variety of shows and sometimes has a DJ. And right now the windows are closed, but when the shades are lifted, it reveals a panoramic view of the sea from the back of the ship.
Now while we unfortunately did not get to see these shades opened, we did get to check out a couple of performances in the Panorama Lounge, one of which was a high-energy show combining singing, dancing, and aerialists with a live band, and another with a live performance of hit Queen songs over a recorded symphony orchestra. We found both shows to be incredibly unique and quite impressive, especially for ones that didn't even take place in the ship's main theater.
Just steps from the Panorama Lounge is the casino. It has a variety of slot machines and table games. It is our understanding that this main area is non-smoking, but they do have a closed-off area for smokers. And walking around this main area here, we did not smell any smoke. As you make your way towards the middle of Deck 7, you'll find a great view of the chandelier. And to my right is the MSC Foundation, and to my left is the hub for all of your Wi-Fi needs. And next to that is the photo center, where you can stop and look at all of the gorgeous photos the staff take of you on board. Right next to the photo center is the Iris Gallery, which we have never seen before anywhere. Apparently, they have a machine that will take a photo of your iris and turn it into a work of art. Next to the Iris Gallery is the MSC Shop, which is the place to buy your MSC souvenirs and memorabilia. This is also where you'll find a super detailed replica of the World America. Across from the MSC Shop is where you'll find the Japanese-inspired specialty restaurants, Kaido Sushi and Teppanyaki.
While we show you a bit more of the sushi and hibachi spots, we do want to mention that in addition to this tour episode, we have a second episode on the World America where we share many of our impressions of this ship, both good and bad, so be sure to check out that episode next if you haven't already.
Right next door to Kaido is the Butcher's Cut, which is a specialty steakhouse. Across from Butcher's Cut is Hola Tacos and Cantina, a specialty restaurant for Mexican food and, of course, margaritas. Just past Hola Tacos is Masters of the Sea, which is the cameraman's favorite bar on the ship because it has a good variety of craft beers on tap, some of which are actually brewed on the ship. And it's the place he was able to get the biggest beer we've ever seen on a cruise ship. This place hosts live music, and it has a spiral staircase that leads up to another bar, which we'll show you on the next deck. Just steps away from Masters of the Sea is the barber shop, and we have to point out its unique feature. It has a window that opens up into the bar so you can order a beer while you're getting your haircut. Across from the barber shop is where you can purchase your luxury watches on the World America. At the very front of Deck 7 is where you'll find the top level and main access to the theater where you can catch a variety of shows. So earlier, Skylar asked the staff in the theater if he could bring drinks in, and they said yes, but I think he might be pushing the limits.
Although Skylar's giant beer definitely did not fit in the theater cup holders, he was allowed to bring it in. And normally he'd need a giant beer or two to make it through a singing and dancing show, but we both agreed that this dirty dancing performance was quite good. We later returned to the theater for a completely different kind of performance, and we were once again both impressed by this aerial acrobatics show.
Now we've got one more of the lower decks to show you before we tour our room and then head up to the upper decks.
Now while we make our way up to Deck 8, we want to mention that you can access the exterior of the ship on Deck 7. And while most of the views are obstructed by lifeboats, there are a few spots that offer great views without having to deal with the crowds.
At the very front of Deck 8 is where you'll find the Aurea Spa. Now we did tour it on our very first day, and I gotta say we were pretty impressed, so we'll show you some of that footage now. Just outside of the spa is the Zest Juice Bar, where you can get fresh squeezed juices, shakes, smoothies, and healthy snack bowls. Across from the juice bar is another complimentary dining room. It is the smallest that we'll be showing you on this tour. From our research, it is for Aurea guests, and it opens up into the World Galleria area. Across from the restaurant is the Gin Project, which you can probably guess is a bar dedicated to gin drinks. This is also the bar that's on top of Master of the Seas, so you can come here, grab a good gin drink, and enjoy the music below. Now this narrow hallway will take us to the comedy club. Now the shows here during our cruise have been very popular, often with a line out the door and around the corner. So if there's a show that you're really excited about, we would highly recommend making a reservation for it.
Now, since you've made it over 15 minutes into this tour, we're assuming that you're at least enjoying it a little bit, and may also enjoy our tour of the other brand new cruise ship which we cruised on just a couple of days after this one. And if you want to be sure not to miss that video or any of our other future cruise content, be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn the notifications on.
Next to the comedy club is the Fizz Champagne Bar, which offers delicious champagne and Prosecco cocktails, along with outdoor seating with great views. Across from the comedy club is Italy. As the name would suggest, it's an Italian specialty restaurant, and it's brand new to MSC Cruises. And we should mention it also offers outdoor seating. Next to the Italian restaurant is Elixir Mixology, which is going to be your place on the ship for a really good craft cocktail, or if you're looking for a variety of whiskeys. They also have a lot of outdoor seating with some really nice views.
Now, as much as we did enjoy the atmosphere inside of Elixir, it was its outdoor space that we really loved, as it had amazing views off the side of Deck 8 and was often empty during the day and at night.
Just past the mixology bar, you'll find yet another excursion desk on my right and a jewelry store on my left. Now, before we leave the World Galleria for the last time, we do want to remind you to look up frequently, because the ceiling is always sparkling and always changing, because a part of it is an LED screen similar to what we found on the Maravilla. And now it's time to show you the World Promenade. It's open air and at the back of the ship, and has been one of our favorite areas to hang out. Now, some of the first spots you'll come across out here is a luxury purse shop to my right and the coffee emporium to my left, which is our favorite place to start the day. Now, we do need to mention that the coffees here at the coffee shop are an upcharge. They also offer pastries. The smaller ones are complimentary, but the larger ones are $1.50.
Now, while we've never had a croissant that we didn't enjoy on an MSC cruise, the ones at the coffee shop were on another level. And this croissant filled with a pistachio cream was one thing on the World America for which we'd gladly pay an upcharge.
Across from the coffee emporium is Paxos. It's another specialty restaurant. They offer a Greek dining experience, but they also have a small section where they offer grab-and-go items.
Now, if we were to pick just one specialty dining spot to eat at on the World America, Paxos might be it, as we love the atmosphere both inside and out, and their menu looked amazing. And we particularly love that if you dine outside here for dinner, you can also enjoy live music on most nights.
Across from Paxos, you'll find two more stores, one selling jewelry and the other selling watches. Beyond the shops are what we like to call the fast track elevators, because they only go between Deck 8 and the upper decks, and they have a really great view going up.
Now, we do have to mention that not only were the views from many of the elevators impressive, but we also love their efficiency, as we very rarely had to wait more than 10 to 20 seconds for our elevator, and oftentimes even less.
Beyond the elevators is where you'll find Promenade Bites, where you can pick up complimentary popcorn, hot dogs, sliders, and even cotton candy. Next to Promenade Bites is where you'll find the end of the jaw drop slide. Now, if you've watched any of our other MSC tour videos, then you know we gave that a try. But we're not going to be showing you that experience until we get all the way up to Deck 20, where it begins. On one side of the jaw drop slide, you'll find Sweet Temptations, and it is full of sweet treats like ice cream, frozen yogurt, candy, and a whole lot more. Across from Sweet Temptations is the sports bar, and it's the first bar on a cruise ship we've experienced that you can pour your own beer, but you can also order from the staff. They also offer bar bites, but keep in mind they are an extra charge here. Now at the very back of Deck 8 is the lanai. It hosts a variety of activities including yoga, meditation, and some pretty fun parties like the silent disco.
After sailing on 20-some cruises over the last few years, we've been to a lot of cruise ship silent discos, but it's safe to say that this one was easily in the best venue of them all and had one of the biggest turnouts. But if you're not into dancing, you can still find an evening event on the lanai for you, such as a live music performance or even a palm tree light show.
Now that you've seen the promenade and everything the lower decks have to offer, we're going to head up to Deck 9 to give you a tour of our room. Welcome to room 9113, an interior stateroom on the World America. Now we have stayed in this room for 3 days now, and even though it's cozy and lacks a bit of storage, there are some things we like about it. Now as soon as you enter the room, on the left you'll find 3 hooks, which we're currently using to store some of the hats we brought on board. It might be a little bit excessive, but we're not going to talk about that. Across from the hooks, you'll find the bathroom through this tiny door. Now this bathroom is one of the smaller that we've had on a cruise ship, but we do think they use the space efficiently. The shower is actually a decent size. It has a door that seals really well. The shower head is adjustable. We thought the water pressure was really good and it got very hot. And I also liked that it had a foot bar. Now this shower did come with shampoo and body wash, but not conditioner, so make sure to bring your own. Now this bathroom is really well lit. We love that it has a large mirror as well as a magnification mirror, but we would have liked to see a third shelf in here for storage because we think they had the space for it. Outside of the bathroom, you'll find light switches, and above that is a key card holder. You'll have to put a card in there in order for your lights and your outlets to work. Above that are buttons to communicate with your room steward. So if you do not want to be disturbed, make sure to hit that left button. And if you want them to clean your room, then hit that right button. Above that is the thermostat. Now across the narrow hallway is a full-length mirror, which is great if you're close up, but if you want a little bit of distance, then your view is blocked partially by this wall. Now on the other side of this wall is the TV, and next to that is the closet. So we've got this thing pretty full because after this cruise, we're hopping on another one. We do want to point out though that there is a small safe up there. You can't fit a laptop in it. You might be able to fit a small tablet in it though. And our closet came with 12 hangers. Next to the closet is a single chair, which is the only seating in this room other than this stool over here. Now, some people wouldn't like that there isn't a love seat or a couch in a room, but we don't mind it because it gives us extra space when we're getting ready. And honestly, when we're on a ship this big, we hardly spend any time in our room anyways. Now, above where this stool is a desk, which is where you'll find the mini fridge. It is stocked with items, which there will be an extra charge for if you do decide to consume. There is a drawer in the desk, which is where you'll find the hairdryer, and there is some space to store some other random things. Above the desk, there are 2 small shelves and a mirror. Now, we were happy to find that there were 2 ports and 2 outlets that we were able to use without an international adapter. And of course, you can always bring one if you want to use the other 2. Next to the desk is the king-size bed. We found it to be quite firm and have slept really well, especially because our room gets so dark at night. On either side of the bed, you'll find cubbies for storage, a nightlight, a reading light, an additional port for charging, and a light switch which controls all the overhead lights in the room. And that wraps up our interior stateroom tour. Now, because the ship is so massive, we decided to film the tour over 2 days. And because decks 9 through 16 are staterooms only, and MSC typically skips deck 17, we're gonna meet you back up on deck 18 bright and early tomorrow morning. Good morning. Today we are starting at the very front of deck 18, and as you can see, it primarily consists of yacht club suites. And actually the rest of the front of the ship on the upper decks is going to be restricted to yacht club and Araya guests. Now, because we paid full price for this cruise and we're working on a budget, we did not book in the yacht club, but we have sailed on the yacht club on a newer MSC ship in the past. So if you're curious about that experience, we will leave a link to that episode in the video description, but we will at least tell you what you will find in this area of the ship. On deck 19 is the Yacht Club Concierge and Lounge. On deck 20 is the Yacht Club Restaurant, and there's also an area for Araya guests, I think it's called Top 20. And then on deck 21, there's the Yacht Club Bar and Grill. And on the highest deck, on deck 22, is their sun deck and pool. But that's enough about the areas that are off limits to most cruisers. Let's go show you something that everybody can access. Just steps away from the yacht club is the botanical garden pool. Now you'll also find 2 smaller hot tubs in here, as well as 2 massive hot tubs that overlook the sides of the ship. Now from talking to staff, this area is usually open until 10 p.m., but there have been some nights that we have been out here after 10 and the hot tubs are still open. Now this area is covered. It has a retractable roof as well as very comfortable loungers. This area also has a second level with a bar and a bunch of games, so we'll take you there next.
While we head upstairs, we do want to mention that our favorite time to enjoy this area of the ship was early in the morning, right when the pool and hot tubs opened. It only got busier and louder as the days went on, and it was common for teenagers to gather here in the evenings.
Now up here you'll find comfortable seating on one side, the bar in the middle, and the games on the other with great views from everywhere. Now behind me in the middle of deck 18 is the main pool, and because we're ported in San Juan today, it's not that crazy, so we're gonna go show it to you next. Now this has to be one of the largest pools we've seen on a cruise ship yet, and we absolutely love the layout of this pool area. In addition to all the loungers around the pool, there are these tiered levels with additional loungers, and it kind of makes you feel like you have your own little space up here. And on one of the tiers, there's actually a hot tub on either side of the ship.
During the day and evening, this pool deck hosted a variety of events, including the very popular White Party.
Now on one side of the pool, you will find a bar where you can purchase drinks, and at the end of the pool, there's a bar where you can also purchase gelato and drinks, and a grab-and-go pizza station.
La Perla is where you can purchase gelato or a drink, and next to that you'll find one of the ship's smoking areas. La Boca is where you can grab some complimentary food without leaving the pool area. While it does offer pizza, you'll have to go to Pizza and Burger or the buffet to get a slice of what we consider to be the best pizza at sea.
Now before we leave this area, we should note that one deck up from the pool on deck 19, there's additional loungers and 2 more large hot tubs that overlook the sides of the ship. At the end of the pool deck is a stage with a giant big screen, and behind that is the buffet. We're going to take you there next. On this deck, you'll find the larger of the 2 main buffets on board. Now, at times we have found it to be quite chaotic, but right now we're here at the very end of breakfast, and we're also in port in San Juan, so it's not too bad right now. We're gonna show you around when it's not so busy, but we'll also share some footage from our other meals here.
While there is a bar inside of the buffet, we stuck with the complimentary drinks. We loved that some drink stations had touchless dispensers for juices and tea, as well as freshly brewed coffee. We even found a variety of milks and other ingredients to add to our coffee when we were craving something sweet. Some of our favorite items on the breakfast buffet included the crispy bacon, the wide variety of fresh fruit, and the pastries. Something we appreciated was this giant map identifying all the different stations and where to find them. as it is easy to miss the ones on the right side. Some of our favorite items from the lunch and dinner buffets were the mozzarella, olives, pizza, sweet and sour chicken, shrimp dumplings, pesto pasta, Creole soup, fruit salad with gooseberries, and saag paneer.
Now, if you walk all the way through the buffet, eventually you'll get to the Zen area, which is a great place to enjoy a coffee. There's a bunch of loungers out in the sun. There's also some spots in the shade. There are pools on either side of the deck, and there's even a bar back here.
While these pools were rarely empty, we were lucky and happened to catch them in the morning before they got busy. The Zen bar in between the two pools is covered and has a smoking area on one side, but its view is a bit obstructed by the silver jaw drop slide. You'll have to go to the very back of Deck 18 for the best views in this area.
Now, before we leave Deck 18, we do have to point out that at the very back, there is a glass walkway and it overlooks Deck 8. It is pretty high, so if you're afraid of heights, you might want to avoid it. Next, we're heading up to Deck 19.
The back of Deck 19 overlooks the Zen area and is a great spot to watch sail away.
Up here on Deck 19, you'll find covered open air seating in the middle of the ship as well as on the sides of the ship because there is a second buffet up here. Now, we believe it just opened for lunch, so we're going to show you what it's like right now.
This buffet also had a bar, a variety of indoor seating, some outdoor seating, and great views.
Now, this buffet is definitely smaller than the one on Deck 18, but as you can see, it has a really good selection. We had no trouble finding something to eat. Now, in addition to this buffet, here on Deck 19, you can find a bunch of things for kids to do, including Do-Re-Mi Land, which we toured yesterday, so we're going to show you around right now.
First up is the studio, which hosts a variety of activities and games. On one side of the ship is the Teens Club for 15 to 17-year-olds. Next to the Teens Club is the Young Club for 12 to 14-year-olds. On the other side of the ship is the Junior Club for 7 to 11-year-olds. It does connect to a Lego room, and we did find out that the staff sanitize thousands of Legos each night, so they're ready for the kids to build masterpieces with each morning. Next to the Junior Club is the Mini Club for 3 to 6-year-olds. This club also has a dedicated Lego room. Last is the Baby Club for little ones under 3.
Next to Do-Re-Mi Land is the Hall of Games and the Formula Racer. Next, we are heading up to Deck 20, where there are some unique and exciting things we can't wait to show you. Now, first up is the MSC gym. Now, on the prior MSC cruises we've sailed on, the gyms have been at the very front of the ship, but this one actually overlooks the pool deck. We love it because it also has great views of the side of the ship. We'll show you around. Just outside of the gym on one side of the ship is the Harbor Aqua Park, and we'll show you our experience from that right now.
Regardless of whether you're a young child or an adult, you'll likely find yourself quite impressed with MSC's largest water park, as it offers an expansive play area with a water slide for the little ones and some much larger water slides for the big kids.
So the yellow slide on the left is a tube slide, and that is the virtual reality one. The two in the middle are the racer slides, and the one on the right is the drop slide.
So I'm about to go down the twin racer, but Jamie didn't want to race me on this one, so it looks like I'm going to be racing a little girl. So we'll see if I win. Here we go.
While I did not go down the Aqua Racer, Skylar said it was one of the better water slides he's experienced on a cruise ship. And while he did reach the bottom before the little girl he was racing, I'm pretty sure it's because she let him win.
All right, Skylar's doing the drop. They wouldn't let us wear anything.
Although I was definitely not down for the drop slide, I did decide to join Skylar on the tube slide, which was unlike any slide we'd ever been on, as it incorporated virtual reality goggles.
You ready?
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Now we do have to say that the goggles seem to be a bit of a gimmick, as they didn't add to the enjoyment of the slide, but nonetheless, we both enjoyed this slide and the water park. But we were excited to see how the slides on this ship would compare to the Aqua Coaster on the brand new Norwegian ship, which would be boarding just a few days later. And to hear our thoughts on that first of its kind water ride and the rest of Norwegian's newest ship, be sure you're subscribed to our channel so you don't miss our episodes on the Aqua.
Across from the gym is the Sportplex, which hosts a variety of activities including roller skating and basketball, which are complimentary, and also bumper cars, which is an extra charge.
So to go roller skating here, you have to wear knee pads, elbow pads, wrist straps, and a helmet.
They provided all that. Now on the second level of this area is the family Lego zone, where you can build stuff with a bunch of Legos. On the other side of the sport complex, on the opposite side of the water park, is where you'll find Harbor Bar and Bites. You can purchase a drink here, or you can grab food on the go. They offer things like wraps, empanadas, and cookies. The food here is complimentary. You do have to pay extra for the ice cream. Now, we haven't eaten here yet, but we definitely will because it offers one of Skylar's favorite things, corn dogs. Yeah, you happy? Just beyond the Harbor Bar and Bites on the back of the ship are 3 activities that will get your adrenaline pumping. There's an adventure trail that's 2 levels with 2 zip lines, the Cliffhanger, which is the only overwater swing you'll find on a cruise ship, and the Jaw Drop, which is a long, dry slide that will take you from deck 20 all the way to deck 8. And we'll show you what those are like right now.
Now unfortunately, we were not allowed to bring filming gear on the adventure trail, even if it was strapped to our body. But even though we can't show it to you firsthand, we can tell you the experience was pretty fun. Plus, it was complimentary. Now, unlike the adventure trail, the Cliffhanger was not complimentary, but I thought this one-of-a-kind thrill ride was easily worth its $5 cost of admission, as I found swinging over the side of the World America to be both fun and exhilarating. And for a brief period of time, Skylar enjoyed it too, but for him, the feeling of exhilaration was soon replaced by the feeling of nausea. So if you're someone who easily gets motion sickness, this may not be the best ride for you. Now before we move on to the final adventure ride, we do want to mention that the staff did recommend booking our spot on all 3 of the rides ahead of time in the MSC app, although there is a standby line for those who choose not to. You do also need to visit this kiosk to sign a waiver and get a wristband before riding these adventure rides or the water slides. Now just a few steps from the Cliffhanger at the very back of deck 20, is where you'll find the entrance to the jaw drop, along with some of the best views on the entire ship. And while taking in these gorgeous views never really gets old, neither does plummeting 11 decks down the longest dry slide at sea.
We'll see you down on deck 8. We hope you've enjoyed this tour of the brand new MSC World America. Now, if you're interested in our first impressions from boarding the ship, or curious about the brand new Norwegian Aqua and how the two ships compare, eventually you'll be able to watch all of those episodes by clicking on this playlist. Thanks for watching.